it's interesting because I think the in Game of Thrones, that idea of leaving people wanting more is a constant thing, and there's also the idea of, Game of Thrones and the books, Songs of Ice and Fire are not like other books that one might compare them to, or other shows. They often break the conventions of the very genre that one might assign them to. How does that play into how you write?
Well, I've always liked breaking conventions. I love the genres. I'm not one of these guys who's trying to burn everything down with a flamethrower. I love science fiction. I love fantasy, but I hate familiarity. I love whether I'm watching television or going to a film or reading a book. I want it to surprise me. I don't want to know where it was heading. Maybe I get that from my childhood with my mother. I mean, we would sit at home watching TV as a family, and my mother would always say aloud exactly what was going to happen. Oh, it's the butler who killed him. And sure enough, it would be the butler who killed him, She would, be watching I Love Lucy, and, oh, that belt is going to start going much faster. She's not going to be able to keep up with the chocolates. And, yeah, sure enough, that would happen. So I learned pretty early the trick of watching these shows and predicting where they were going to go. The one she couldn't predict, of course, maybe it was one reason I loved it so much, was the original Twilight Zone with the famous twist endings. It's hard for a crowd looking around. I see a lot of young people here in this audience, and to know what a revolutionary show Twilight Zone was in 1959 and 1960, and how surprising those twist endings were. When we revived Twilight Zone in the mid '80s, the network was always on us. One of the things we had on that show is, why can't you have more twist endings as the original show did? And we tried, man, but what worked in 1959 really did not work in 1986. I tell you, people, the audience had become so much more sophisticated, and they could see those twist endings coming a mile away. It's the minute somebody walks into the store, it's she's a mannequin. Yeah, of course she's a mannequin. The minute you don't show the face of a bandaged character. Oh, they're all the ugly ones. Haven't you noticed that they're not showing their faces? Yeah, these great techniques that Rod Serling invented in '59 in the ensuing 20, 30 years had become so familiar to the audiences you couldn't put it over on them anymore. So coming up with a really genuine twist ending that worked became harder and harder. Someone should tell that to M. Night. He should drop trying for those twist endings.